When you look at this painting, what do you notice? There's a man on a bed, surrounded by death and destruction. The room is filled with fire, and people are fighting or already fallen. There's this intense mix of luxury and violence. This man is called Sardanapalus, and he is lying there, looking almost indifferent while the mess unfolds around him. It almost feels like he's detached from it all, almost as if he's already accepted what's coming. So, who was Sardanapalus? According to the ancient Greek writer Ctesias, Sardanapalus was the last king of the Assyrian Empire, but he wasn't your typical powerful king. In fact, his reign was marked by decadence. This was a man who wore women's clothes, used makeup, and had a lot of concubines, both women and men. He lived a life entirely focused on luxury and self-indulgence, and he didn't even shy away from writing his own epitaph, saying that pleasure was the only purpose in life. Safe to say this wasn't the noble or heroic king you might expect. His lifestyle didn't sit well with his people, and it eventually led to a conspiracy against him. A coalition of enemies, Medes, Persians, and Babylonians, rose up and started challenging his rule. Though Sardanapalus had some early successes, it wasn't enough. He thought he'd managed to beat them back, but in the end, the rebels came back with more force. Sardanapalus' forces were caught off guard and defeated. As things got worse, Sardanapalus retreated to Nineveh, his capital, hoping to defend it. He sent his brother-in-law to lead the army, but that quickly ended in disaster. His brother-in-law was killed. With the siege of Nineveh becoming inevitable, Sardanapalus knew he couldn't hold out forever. Then a flood from the Tigris River broke through the city's defenses, and everything started falling apart. At this point, rather than face defeat or capture, Sardanapalus decided to go out on his own terms. He had a massive funeral pyre built, filled with his wealth, gold, silver, and royal clothing. He locked himself inside the pyre with his concubines and eunuchs, and set it all on fire. He died in the flames, surrounded by everything he'd lived for, his riches and his extravagant life. This dramatic end became an inspiration for artists, especially during the Romantic era. The death of Sardanapalus by Delacroix really brings that moment to life, showing Sardanapalus lying on his bed amidst the flames and destruction with bodies all around him. It's a powerful image of everything he had built collapsing around him. Sardanapalus' story is a reminder of how living solely for pleasure and excess can lead to a downfall. He was a man who didn't care for anything but his own enjoyment, and when his empire crumbled, he chose to end his life in the same destructive way he had lived it.